he pulled a weapon. Everyone froze. She didn't. In one breath, she had him on the floor and the weapon in her hand. They didn't cheer. They just stared. Lieutenant Commander Isabella Venom Cruz had been assigned to Naval Special Warfare Training Center in Coronado for exactly 21 weeks. At 5 feet 7 inches with raven black hair pulled back in regulation style and dark eyes that seemed to assess every situation with clinical detachment, she moved through her medical duties with the kind of controlled precision that made her presence both reassuring and somehow unnerving. She carried her medical equipment with practiced ease, treated injuries with expert clinical care, and maintained the supportive presence that characterized dedicated military nurses. To the SEAL candidates and training staff, she was simply their assigned medical officer, competent, caring, and completely professional in her medical role. What made Lieutenant Commander Cruz particularly effective, though few recognized it at the time, was her uncanny ability to remain absolutely calm while processing threats and potential violence with speed that seemed to bypass normal human reaction times. During chaotic training scenarios, she would position herself with tactical advantage while providing medical care. During high-stress situations, she demonstrated threat assessment capabilities that allowed her to maintain medical focus while tracking potential dangers that others didn't recognize. During violent training exercises, she showed composure that suggested experience with genuine combat situations rather than simulated training. Her medical bay was organized with military precision that exceeded standard requirements. Every piece of equipment had its designated place, every medical procedure was executed with obsessive attention to detail, and every emergency response was coordinated with efficiency that impressed even senior medical officers. But there were subtle differences that most people overlooked: reaction speeds that seemed to anticipate violence before it occurred, threat assessment capabilities that operated faster than conscious thought, and a personal readiness that seemed to come from training far beyond medical education. The candidates knew her through routine medical encounters and growing respect. Ma'am, when they required medical attention, Lieutenant Commander Cruz, when discussing her professional capabilities, or Doc Cruz, in everyday conversation. None of them had questioned her background beyond standard medical training, though many had noticed she possessed unusually acute threat awareness and seemed to process dangerous situations with speed that exceeded typical medical officer capabilities. But extraordinary combat reflexes often remain hidden until violent moments demand their immediate revelation, especially when they involve people whose specialized training remains carefully concealed behind compassionate professional assignments. Welcome to Silent Salute, where we uncover the extraordinary stories hiding behind ordinary military assignments. Before we dive into this incredible tale, tell us in the comments which country you're watching from today. And if you believe that true warriors never lose their edge, hit that subscribe button to support our channel. We're honored to share these remarkable stories with you. Naval Special Warfare Training Center in the summer of 2024 was operating under enhanced security protocols that required constant vigilance against potential threats while maintaining realistic training that prepared candidates for actual combat environments. Home to the most elite naval warrior training programs in the world, the facility implemented comprehensive security measures that protected classified training methods while enabling effective preparation for special operations missions. The medical support required for such intensive training was comprehensive, demanding, and absolutely critical for maintaining both candidate safety and operational security. The daily rhythm at Coronado was carefully orchestrated around threat assessment training that tested both individual capabilities and collective security awareness. Morning brought physical conditioning that included threat recognition exercises designed to build instinctive awareness of potential dangers. Midday featured tactical training that emphasized immediate threat response, including close-quarters combat scenarios, weapon retention techniques, and neutralization procedures that tested reflexes under realistic pressure. Afternoon included specialized skills training that built operational capabilities while maintaining constant security awareness, such as combat medical training under threat conditions, defensive tactics, and tactical response to hostile action. Evening brought security briefings and threat analysis that prepared candidates for dangers they might encounter during actual operations. Through it all, Lieutenant Commander Cruz provided medical support with steady professionalism that had characterized her entire assignment. Her medical expertise was universally respected, her emergency response capabilities were unquestioned, and her ability to handle any medical situation that arose during training impressed instructors and candidates alike. She could treat complex trauma while maintaining awareness of potential security threats, coordinate medical response during dangerous training scenarios without losing focus on developing situations, and provide medical oversight for high-risk exercises while demonstrating threat recognition that exceeded medical oversight requirements. The training environment at Coronado was deliberately designed to test candidate responses to genuine threats while building reflexes that would function automatically under actual hostile conditions. Every exercise included elements that tested their ability to distinguish between training scenarios and real dangers while maintaining appropriate response readiness to actual threats. Lieutenant Commander Cruz had established herself as more than exceptional medical support. She had become a presence who seemed to operate with threat awareness that exceeded everyone around her. Her ability to process developing dangerous situations while maintaining medical focus impressed instructors and candidates alike. She could recognize potential threats that others hadn't detected, maintain medical readiness while tracking multiple security concerns, and coordinate medical care with timing that suggested precognitive awareness of developing violence. The candidates had formed clear impressions about her role and capabilities that went beyond medical expertise. She was outstanding medical support who understood the unpredictable and potentially dangerous nature of their training environment. Her medical knowledge was comprehensive, her threat recognition was remarkable, and her ability to remain calm under pressure was absolute. But she also possessed something that seemed almost supernatural: the ability to process potential violence and respond to threats with speed that exceeded normal human capabilities. Her interactions with candidates revealed readiness that exceeded medical requirements. During medical treatment sessions, she maintained constant awareness of potential threats while providing care. During tactical training observations, she demonstrated threat assessment that enhanced both safety and tactical learning. During conversations about combat readiness, she displayed understanding of violence and threat neutralization that suggested experience beyond medical education. Among the candidates was Petty Officer First Class Marcus Blade Martinez, a former Army Rangers veteran who'd served multiple combat deployments and had extensive close-quarters combat training before applying for SEAL training. Martinez was highly respected by his fellow candidates for his combat experience and threat assessment abilities, and his observations of Lieutenant Commander Cruz reflected growing recognition of her unusual capabilities. Doc Cruz has the most acute threat awareness I've encountered outside of actual combat veterans, Martinez had mentioned to his swim buddy during their 20th week. Her ability to process dangerous situations and maintain readiness exceeds most combat personnel I've served with. She operates like someone who's been tested under actual hostile conditions. Martinez's observation was more accurate than he realized. Lieutenant Commander Cruz's threat awareness wasn't developed through medical training. It was proven capability developed through experiences that most medical personnel never encounter. Her readiness came from validated experience in situations where immediate response to violence meant survival. Seaman First Class Jake Steele Thompson, who'd served as a Navy security specialist and had extensive defensive tactics training before SEAL training, offered his perspective on Lieutenant Commander Cruz's exceptional capabilities. Some medical officers develop enhanced threat recognition through specialized training or high-risk medical assignments. Doc Cruz's threat assessment and readiness suggest extensive training in hostile environment operations or maybe specialized security duties. But Thompson's theory, while logical, couldn't fully explain the specific type of threat awareness and readiness Lieutenant Commander Cruz displayed, the kind that suggested not just defensive training, but proven effectiveness in situations where violence neutralization had been tested under actual life-threatening conditions. There were details that, in retrospect, should have raised questions about her combat background. During observations of defensive tactics training, she demonstrated understanding of violence and neutralization that exceeded medical oversight requirements. During equipment handling, she displayed coordination that suggested extensive experience with defensive techniques rather than basic military training. During conversations about threat response, she provided insights that indicated specialized knowledge of combat applications under hostile conditions. Her physical conditioning exceeded what most medical officers maintained, often demonstrating reflexes and coordination that matched elite combat specialists. Her tactical movement during routine duties suggested training in threat neutralization that exceeded medical education. Her threat scanning during training activities indicated experience in environments where constant violence assessment and immediate response readiness were required for survival. Chief Petty Officer David Warrior Stevens, a 27-year SEAL veteran who served as defensive tactics instructor and had extensive experience with personnel trained in violence neutralization, had noticed these details more than most. "There's something different about Lieutenant Commander Cruz," he'd mentioned to the training officer during their weekly briefing. "Her threat awareness and readiness suggest combat training that exceeds medical education. Her capabilities indicate proven experience in actual hostile situations requiring immediate violence response." Stevens' assessment identified the key characteristic that distinguished Lieutenant Commander Cruz from other medical officers. Her combat readiness consistently exceeded what medical training would provide. Her threat recognition suggested proven training in situations where violence neutralization was essential for mission success. And her interaction with defensive training personnel reflected knowledge that came from specialized experience rather than academic study. Master Sergeant Tom "Combat" Wilson, who had 30 years of special operations experience and had served with personnel who possessed the most advanced violence neutralization capabilities in the military, had also observed Lieutenant Commander Cruz's unusual readiness. "She possesses threat response capabilities that exceed standard military training," Wilson had told the training commander during their monthly assessment meeting. "Her readiness and threat assessment suggest she's been trained in immediate violence neutralization that has been tested under actual hostile conditions." Wilson's observation reflected recognition that Lieutenant Commander Cruz's capabilities exceeded medical officer qualifications and suggested specialized training that had been proven effective under actual combat situations where immediate threat neutralization determined outcomes. The incident that would reveal everything occurred during Week 21, when a genuine security threat would penetrate facility defenses and force Lieutenant Commander Cruz to demonstrate capabilities that would shock everyone who witnessed them. The situation began during routine afternoon training when candidates were participating in defensive tactics exercises designed to test their ability to recognize and respond to potential threats while maintaining tactical coordination under realistic pressure. Lieutenant Commander Cruz was providing medical oversight for the defensive training, positioned in the central training area where she could monitor candidate activities while maintaining readiness to respond to training-related injuries. Her role required coordination with training staff while maintaining tactical awareness of defensive exercises throughout the facility. During the most complex phase of the training, an actual security breach occurred that transformed defensive training into genuine life-threatening emergency. A disgruntled former employee had bypassed facility security systems and entered the training area with obvious hostile intent, carrying a concealed weapon and displaying behavior that indicated immediate danger to personnel. The security breach was detected by surveillance systems, but the intruder had advanced into the training area before security forces could intercept. Armed and showing clear intent to cause harm, the intruder posed immediate threat to multiple candidates and instructors who were engaged in training activities. The intruder's advance was initially mistaken for part of the defensive training exercise, but his behavior quickly indicated genuine hostile intent that required immediate response to prevent casualties. In a moment of explosive violence, the armed intruder suddenly produced a handgun and began threatening personnel while advancing toward candidates who were positioned with limited ability to respond to genuine threat. The appearance of the weapon created immediate recognition that the situation had transitioned from training exercise to actual life-threatening emergency. Personnel began implementing protective measures while attempting to assess the extent of the threat and coordinate appropriate response. Lieutenant Commander Cruz's response to the armed threat was instantaneous and revealed combat capabilities that exceeded everything anyone had imagined possible. While everyone else was processing the transition from training to genuine emergency and beginning to implement protective measures, Lieutenant Commander Cruz was already moving with speed and precision that seemed to operate outside normal time constraints. Her response wasn't reactive. It was immediate and complete, demonstrating threat neutralization capabilities that exceeded the reaction speeds of elite special operations personnel present. Moving with combat techniques that revealed extensive specialized training, she closed the distance to the armed threat while implementing neutralization procedures that demonstrated proven effectiveness under actual hostile conditions. Threat neutralized, Lieutenant Commander Cruz called out, while simultaneously securing the weapon and controlling the hostile individual with techniques that prevented resistance or continued threat. Her threat neutralization was accomplished through combat skills that demonstrated master-level training in violence response far beyond medical education. The armed individual was subdued and weapons secured before security forces arrived or other personnel had completed their threat assessment. The entire emergency response had been completed in less than 5 seconds, accomplished through threat neutralization capabilities that exceeded the reaction speeds and combat training of the most experienced military personnel present. The training area fell into stunned silence as personnel processed what they had witnessed. Their medical officer had just neutralized an armed threat with combat skills that exceeded the capabilities of elite special operations personnel. Doc Cruz just neutralized an armed threat with combat techniques that exceed most special operations personnel, Martinez said quietly to his teammates. Her threat response and neutralization capabilities suggest training that far exceeds medical education. Chief Stevens, who had witnessed the entire threat neutralization sequence, recognized that Lieutenant Commander Cruz's combat performance revealed background that exceeded anything he had suspected. Lieutenant Commander Cruz, Stevens said with obvious respect and amazement. Your threat neutralization and combat capabilities suggest specialized training that exceeds most military personnel. Your ability to neutralize that armed threat indicates proven combat experience at elite levels. Lieutenant Commander Cruz's response began to provide insight into training that most medical personnel never receive. Chief Stevens' previous assignments required medical personnel to develop threat neutralization capabilities when operational situations demanded immediate violence response. Medical support in certain environments often requires combat training that exceeds standard medical education. But Stevens recognized that Lieutenant Commander Cruz's explanation, while accurate, didn't fully reveal the extent of her combat training or the specialized background that had enabled such extraordinary threat neutralization performance. Later that afternoon, Stevens received authorization to access classified personnel records that revealed information explaining Lieutenant Commander Cruz's exceptional combat capabilities and specialized background. The classified records disclosed that Lieutenant Commander Cruz had completed specialized training in immediate threat neutralization that was designed for personnel who operated in environments where violence response capabilities were essential for survival. Her medical training was enhanced by programs that developed combat skills beyond normal military training. Her true background included training with classified programs that focused on developing elite-level violence neutralization capabilities for personnel who faced genuine life-threatening situations where normal defensive measures were insufficient. Her specialized education had prepared her to function in environments where immediate threat response was required without the luxury of normal defensive protocols. The records revealed that Lieutenant Commander Cruz had been tested under actual combat conditions where her enhanced threat neutralization capabilities had been proven effective in preventing casualties and neutralizing hostile threats. Her training represented advanced combat development for specialized military applications. Stevens immediately requested a private meeting with Lieutenant Commander Cruz to discuss her specialized background and enhanced capabilities, understanding that her training represented advancement beyond conventional military education. Lieutenant Commander Cruz, Stevens said during their private conversation, learning about your specialized background explains everything we observed about your threat neutralization capabilities and combat readiness. Your enhanced training represents capabilities that exceed conventional military development. Lieutenant Commander Cruz accepted the opportunity to discuss her background and the specialized training that had prepared her for immediate threat neutralization operations. Chief Stevens, the training I received was designed to prepare personnel for environments where conventional defensive measures were insufficient and enhanced violence response was essential for mission success and personnel survival. Over the following days, more details about Lieutenant Commander Cruz's background began to emerge through official channels and conversations with personnel who had clearance to discuss her classified training programs. Her specialized training was extraordinary, even by military standards, and her enhanced capabilities had contributed to mission success during operations that required threat neutralization beyond normal military parameters. Her training encompassed proven effectiveness in actual combat situations that had tested her enhanced abilities under genuine life-threatening conditions. What we're learning, Stevens explained to his training staff during a classified briefing, is that Lieutenant Commander Cruz represents enhanced combat capabilities that integrate medical expertise with elite-level threat neutralization. Her training demonstrates how personnel can be developed to function beyond conventional military limitations. Her assignment to SEAL training was designed to provide medical support that could also enhance defensive training through her specialized capabilities while evaluating candidate development from the perspective of someone who had proven enhanced performance under actual combat conditions. Upon learning about the candidate's recognition of her enhanced capabilities, Lieutenant Commander Cruz worked with the training staff to develop advanced threat neutralization training that incorporated lessons learned from her specialized experience and enhanced combat operations. The training I received, Lieutenant Commander Cruz explained to the candidates during a special threat response session, taught me that effective threat neutralization requires combat capabilities that operate faster than normal decision-making processes. Enhanced violence response often requires training that develops capabilities beyond conventional military limitations. Her enhanced training scenarios included realistic threat neutralization situations where candidates had to apply combat techniques under actual pressure, violence response exercises that tested their ability to neutralize threats while maintaining mission focus, and enhanced reaction training that pushed their threat response capabilities toward elite levels. The training instructors who learned about Lieutenant Commander Cruz's specialized background became eager students of her enhanced combat expertise. Her specialized experience was integrated with their training knowledge, creating educational opportunities that reflected the advanced capabilities required for operations beyond conventional military parameters. Working with Lieutenant Commander Cruz, Stevens told the candidates, demonstrates why modern special operations may require enhanced combat capabilities that exceed conventional military limitations. Her specialized training represents the future of military threat neutralization development. The candidates quickly learned that Lieutenant Commander Cruz's enhanced training provided insights that pushed every aspect of their threat response development beyond conventional boundaries. Her understanding of elite-level threat neutralization, enhanced violence response, and immediate combat decision-making created learning opportunities that exceeded anything available through conventional military training. Martinez, who had recognized Lieutenant Commander Cruz's exceptional threat awareness, became one of her most dedicated students. "Ma'am, your enhanced training has completely changed how I understand combat limitations. Your proven capabilities under actual hostile conditions provide insights into threat neutralization that we could never develop through conventional training." Thompson, who had theorized about her specialized background, gained new appreciation for enhanced combat performance applications in military operations. "Lieutenant Commander Cruz, your threat response capabilities that I attributed to advanced training, now I understand they came from specialized programs that develop performance beyond conventional military limitations." Stevens, who had recognized her elite combat potential, found his assessment confirmed beyond his expectations. "Ma'am, working with you has shown me that the most effective threat neutralization training may require developing capabilities that exceed conventional military performance limitations. The enhanced threat neutralization training programs that Lieutenant Commander Cruz developed were eventually adopted throughout Naval Special Warfare Command, establishing new standards for immediate threat response that pushed SEAL operators toward elite-level combat capabilities. Her methods influenced military combat development worldwide and enhanced the effectiveness of threat neutralization under actual hostile conditions. Her specialized training became a symbol of the integration of medical excellence with enhanced combat performance that defined advanced military capability development. Her training methods demonstrated how specialized programs could develop performance that exceeded conventional limitations to achieve mission effectiveness beyond normal parameters. The story of Lieutenant Commander Cruz's revealed enhanced capabilities became legendary at the training facility, shared with new classes as an example of how extraordinary combat enhancement often serves through assignments that conceal specialized training behind medical responsibilities. The most important lesson you can learn here, threat response instructors would tell new candidates, is that enhanced combat performance often comes in unexpected forms. The person providing your medical support might be someone who's achieved threat neutralization capabilities that exceed conventional military limitations. Years later, when Lieutenant Commander Cruz transitioned to other assignments, her legacy lived on in the enhanced threat neutralization training programs she developed and in the understanding that true combat excellence may require capabilities that exceed conventional military limitations while serving through whatever assignments best support current operational requirements. Her story reminded everyone that in naval special warfare, as throughout the special operations community, the most extraordinary capabilities are often possessed by personnel who choose to serve through assignments that hide their enhanced combat accomplishments behind routine professional responsibilities. Lieutenant Commander Cruz's revealed enhanced capabilities became synonymous with the understanding that future military effectiveness may require performance that exceeds conventional limitations. Her example demonstrated that the most advanced military training may be enhanced by personnel whose specialized capabilities remain carefully concealed behind routine professional duties. The moment when she had neutralized the armed threat with elite-level combat skills had lasted only seconds, but its impact continued for years, reminding everyone that enhanced combat capabilities may hide behind medical assignments, and that the people trusted with medical responsibilities may be the ones with the most advanced threat neutralization capabilities to share about exceeding limitations when mission success demands elite-level response. The site of threat neutralization that operated faster than normal human capabilities had demonstrated not just individual excellence, but broader understanding of how specialized training creates performance that transcends conventional limitations. Lieutenant Commander Cruz's willingness to serve through medical assignments showed that enhanced combat performance continues through whatever roles best serve current operational requirements. The enhanced threat neutralization training protocols that emerged from Lieutenant Commander Cruz's specialized experience created new standards for military performance that recognized the potential for developing capabilities beyond conventional limitations. Her methods were studied and implemented across multiple special operations services, establishing her as a pioneer in enhanced combat performance military applications. The candidates who trained under Lieutenant Commander Cruz's enhanced programs consistently demonstrated superior threat neutralization capabilities, violence response speed, and combat decision-making under pressure compared to candidates trained under conventional methods. Her influence on military combat development extended far beyond the specific incident that had revealed her enhanced capabilities. Martinez, who had recognized her exceptional threat awareness, eventually completed SEAL training and became a threat response specialist himself. Throughout his career, he credited Lieutenant Commander Cruz's example with teaching him that military excellence may require developing capabilities beyond conventional limitations. Lieutenant Commander Cruz didn't just teach me about threat neutralization, Martinez would tell his team members years later. She taught me that true military effectiveness may require enhanced performance that exceeds what we think are conventional limitations. Thompson, who had theorized about her specialized background, also completed SEAL training and advanced to combat development positions. His experience learning Lieutenant Commander Cruz's true background influenced his approach to performance enhancement throughout his career. What I learned from Lieutenant Commander Cruz, Thompson would explain to combat development specialists, is that extraordinary threat neutralization capabilities often come in unexpected forms, and that the most effective military training may require developing abilities that exceed conventional limitations. This story was brought to you by Silent Salute. Before we leave you today, here's our question. Have you ever witnessed someone demonstrate threat neutralization capabilities that seem to exceed normal human limitations? Have you encountered people whose response to violence operated faster than conventional reaction times? Tell us in the comments about the moments when you realized someone possessed capabilities that challenged your understanding of human combat performance. And if you believe that true excellence may require exceeding conventional boundaries, hit that subscribe button to support our channel. Every story reminds us that extraordinary capabilities often hide behind routine assignments, and that the people we notice least may be the ones with the most advanced combat abilities to share when critical moments demand elite-level response. We'll see you in the next story, where we'll discover another incredible tale of hidden excellence and unexpected performance revelation.